All right, welcome. All right, it's a Del Mar Saturday edition. Breeders' Cup Saturday, classic day of the horse racing happy hour. Louie Bro hanging out with JD Fox. How about that? Horse tickets on Twitter. Go find him there. All of the things. He is Mr. Woodbine. So we're going to get his thoughts on a couple of races today. He'll be followed by Matt Dinnerman, of course, track announcer at Oaklawn Park in Monmouth, and our guy Danny Brewer, Sports Brew there in Tennessee. Tennessee's most famous turf writer. We'll get to all three of them today as well. JD, been a minute since you've been on the happy hour. How you been, buddy?
It's been quite a while, but good to see you as always, Louie.
Yeah, no, it seems to be our reunion every year is here. It sounds like, frankly, we need to be doing this at Kentucky Downs as well.
Yeah, Kentucky Downs, Keeneland, the bar around the corner. I mean, lots of options for us.
Yeah, lots of really, really good spots for sure. But JD is a bit of a Woodbine head, and we wanted to kind of pick his brain a little bit about a couple of horses in the Filly and Mare Turf today, which will go off as the 9th race. And so yesterday, you must have loved what happened yesterday, where all of your horses from Woodbine come down here and they decide to play rugby. It was a hell of a thing.
Yeah, they did the exact same thing as the last time they ran at Woodbine, and we were waiting for a result for 15 minutes because of it. But today's a new day, Louie, and we're going to focus on today. Focus on the positives. That's what the second day of the Breeders' Cup is all about.
Positive radio, let's go. There are a couple runners in here, the names we sort of expect, and we the Kevin Attards of the world, the Mark Cassies of the world, the names that we associate with the very highest level at Woodbine. I know there's a horse in here that you really like.
Yeah, Full Count Felicia, since getting into the Kevin Attard barn, really has focused on getting to the front end in the longer races, and they keep bringing her longer and longer, and she keeps running better and better. And really, she's going to get a lead on her own here in this race. I don't think maybe Didia tries to follow her, but I think Full Count Felicia is going to be on the front end, and Irad Ortiz is going to ride this horse for the first time, and I think Irad can take this horse as far as she wants to go, and that might be to the finish line. I really think what you have here with the two Woodbine horses is obviously former Canadian Horse of the Year Moira is also in there, who's a deep closer. Really, it's going to be one or the other. So either Full Count Felicia takes some wire to wire on the front end, or the pace breaks down and Moira can jump in with all of the European shippers and all the closers in this field, because there are a whole bunch of closers in this field, Louie.
Yeah, it is a closer-heavy field for sure, and once in a while you're putting a ticket together and you're like, okay, who's the best front runner in this race? That's not even a question. Full Count Felicia is going to be in that spot. Do you give a horse like Didia a spot in this chance? A chance in this spot, a spot in this chance in this spot? Or, I mean, are there Euros? I mean, the Euros, we know what they're bringing to the table.
Yeah, I think really with Didia, we'll sit off of Full Count Felicia if she doesn't press her. So really, I think that's a logical horse to look in as well, just because she'll get first run. Really, and this is what a lot of people talk about with Del Mar, is generally Del Mar, especially the fall meet, does not favor closers. So I really think Full Count Felicia, if we get anywhere near the 12-1 morning line, is going to be an absolute chance to make a lot of people a lot of money.
I think with a horse like this, and you get the connections like this, we don't see, Irad with Kevin very often. This isn't a combination that we see. Do we throw out the jockey trainer combo of 0 for the last 6? Do we care about that kind of stuff?
I don't think you really care about it in this spot. I think the interesting thing is Kazushi Kimura rode last time, took Full Count Felicia out to a 14-length lead. He's also riding in this race for the 8-horse Hang the Moon, who will be a deep closer in this one. But Irad on the front end, probably an upgrade, honestly. Kazushi's a great rider, but if Kazushi has a weakness, it's generally front-end rides, and Irad's one of the best at getting them out front.
We saw this yesterday in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. It was, frankly, the only race where get out front, stay out front, over 2 turns at least, really was the way. But as you said, in the fall here at Del Mar, does seem to be a play. You want to be forwardly placed, especially on the turf.
Yeah, especially on the turf here. And we'll see also conditions. It was a little nippy this morning. It was a little cold, little chill, little sting in the grass. So we'll see how the first races play out. Obviously, this race is coming after the Classic, which sounds weird, and it is weird.
It's a little weird. It's all right. But he's JD Fox at Horse Tickets on Twitter. Go find him there. JD, man, it is so good to see you. And thanks for jumping on, brother. Appreciate you very much. We'll bring in Matt Dinnerman. Why not? Let's do that. Or are you ready to go, Matt? Should I bring in Danny Brewer? Let's go. Let's get Matt Dinnerman in here as we move along on the horse racing happy hour. Louie Rebeau hanging out with you. We are at the paddock here at Del Mar. Thanks so much for making us part of your Breeders' Cup Classic Saturday. So, I'll slide over here. Why not? I can interview with both hands. And so,
made
Matt,
me wear the hat.
who made you?
This man right here.
Okay, yes. I agree with Zach.
On the hat. You like it?
That you should have to wear it all the time. I'm hoping you're sleeping in it.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin it because of its cost. So I'm going to sort of keep it in its own little box. You know?
Dude, I'm always blown away when I see a guy in nice boots and like a nice hat. I'm like, bro, that's 2 G's. Like, what's going on here?
Right. I mean, you know what? This is the only time I get to be a fan where I get to just walk around, and it's the biggest event of the year. So why the heck not would I just go all out with my wardrobe?
I love it, man. I'm not mad at this at all. Hey, all joking about couture aside, this is your home track. This is where you fell in love with horse racing. You've come on our show and talked about, listening to Trevor, being influenced by him and moving on with your career. You moved east of the Rockies. You bought a place in Arkansas, for God's sake. How's the transition been? How's it going?
It's been great. I mean, Oaklawn's like Saratoga of the South. People love their racing, and that makes me fit right in. So to be able to be at a track like that and to call their races is just phenomenal. It's never something I would have imagined, but here we are. And then transferring to Monmouth in the summer, just a great quality of living. We got the beach, great food, good people. Haskell Day was as big of a blast as I've had calling races on one specific day. I mean, there were 39,000 people. It was just electric. So it's just been fantastic.
Calling the all turf cards at the Meadowlands. Is that what a great little meet that is. I mean, it was fun, by the way, too, because you're getting 8, 9, 10 horses a field. The exacta pools are fun, that kind of thing. So how was that like?
It was a lot of fun. People chip in to run their horses there. It's all turf, so people love the turf. And you get hardcore horse racing fans that show up to the Meadowlands. I mean, we had at least 1,000 people a night, if not more than that. And they were down there, and they were just betting with both fists. You could tell, you could hear it during the races. And I actually got to call a harness race on the last night. So at post time, Ken Workington, a legend in the harness game, is an announcer. He actually was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 23. He said, "You're calling this race." I said, "What?" I said, "I think it's in my mind you should call a race. Let's do it." And we did it. And I was more nervous to do that than to call the Haskell. But we got through it.
So what percentage of Haskell Day was awesome because I visited the announcer's booth at Monmouth?
I would say at least 50%.
I agree with you. Yeah, 50 sounds about right there. Matt Ditterman with us at 3 Colts Handicap on Twitter if you're the one person that doesn't follow him. So you wanted to come in. You got a horse in the last. And so the dirt mile, it's an interesting setup, of course, with the TV rights and these things with NBC. Classic gets moved up, end of that middle pick 5, start of the late pick 5. But we get this dirt mile at the end that, Matt, is as open as any race this weekend.
It's a fantastic race. We're scratching pipeline in there. So 13.
You can't turn it off, can you? The announcer thing. Notice. Your attention, please. Pipeline has been scratched. Yeah.
Usually at this early in the day, I'm used to giving out the changes. So I'm on vacation. I should just shut that part off. I don't know if I can, but it's a great race. I think there's a lot of pace in it. So especially coming on air, I think because I really like a horse, this is a perfect horse to give out because there are a lot of people that probably will spread. If you single in this instance, that's a big, bold move. But I've got a horse that maybe at least on some tickets, I might just do that.
I love it. And I'm racking my brain trying to figure out who it is that Matt Ditterman's going to single in the last. And who is it?
Well, he's got a lot of personality. That's the hint. His name from the Brittany Russell barn. And I think that just looking at him, wait, why did I forget his name all of a sudden? Post time. There you go. The gray horse. I was thinking Pipeline, but he's right. That's what I was thinking. Post time. Well, that I don't know if that's a good sign if I forgot his name, but post time, the big gray horse. He is just a picture of consistency. And even though most of his wins have come at a 1-turn mile, we saw him run against Arthur's Ride, a really good third in a grade 1, going 2 turns at a mile and an 1/8. So the 2 turns shouldn't be a problem. But the key is there's a lot of speed in this race. I think he's going to be able to get a perfect trip from just off of it. I think he's good enough to beat this field, even though last time out he didn't beat much, but he got a big buyer. I think this horse is up for the task today.
Little Russell combination on that. That would be a hell of a story, wouldn't it?
It would be fantastic. And I think this is Brittany Russell's first Breeders' Cup starter. So that would be very cool for them, a family affair. And I think they brought a really live one today. And based on his personality, he looks like he is doing just fantastic.
Well, you're here with your dad, and you're at your home track, and you get to go to the Breeders' Cup. Have a great day, man.
Thank you.
Let's
I
make some money
appreciate it.
today. Let's have some fun for sure.
We're
But
gonna
I
do our
appreciate
best.
you jumping on. Yeah, thanks for the tip. There you go. He's on the Maryland horse, man. He's on post time. I love it. Good for
We're
you.
here live.
We're you are looking live at the Del Mar paddock. Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, this is my life now, man. Yeah, how about that?
Good
Yeah,
for you. You're living the dream. as you'd say.
it's a dream of sorts. Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, good
Keep
man.
living it.
I appreciate
Good
you,
to see
brother.
you,
All right,
Louie.
we'll see you, buddy.
All right.
We're coming down Oakland this year. So we'll see you at Oakland. We'll get Danny Brewer in here. We're going to keep the cavalcade rolling here on the Horse Racing Happy Hour. Louie paddock side here. Quick episode, just a Saturday episode after our hour-long episode over there on ESPN 680. All that'll be up on the podcast center very soon. Danny Brewer, you heard from this guy in the last hour. Appreciate you jumping on for that show for sure. Talking through the classic field there, talking about some of the other aspects of this Breeders' Cup that we find interesting. Certainly the infusion, and I mean true infusion of Japanese runners, and it's impossible to be around this track and not notice those connections and those folks running around, whether it be media or just fans. It's been a terrific part of it, and just an interesting classic field. But we're going to talk about the sprint. So we're going to go to a different race here and get through that part of the card. And this is part of that late pick 5, and frankly, part of a late pick 3, Danny, that I think could pay stacks.
Oh, big time stacks because it's so wide open. I mean, we're going to talk about the sprint whenever you're ready because I think we like one of the same horses who's a longer shot on the board in this race.
All right, so let's get straight to it. Obviously, a 6 furlonger here on the dirt. Other side of this building, Danny, here at Del Mar. Who'd you land on this one?
I'm with you, and I like Raging Torrent. But here's my question. Who's going to be on the lead, Louie? Who is going to be on the lead? Because you've got Raging Torrent, who his last 3 races has led every step of the way. You've got Federal Judge, who's been insanely fast since he's gotten in the Brad Cox barns. His last 2 races, he's led every step of the way. Skelly, he's a tremendous front runner. Straight No Chaser. I mean, it just goes on and on as far as who's going to be on the lead because only one horse can be on the lead. So could that set it up for somebody who comes from a little bit further back? We don't know.
Is there a horse that maybe has a little bit of late speed that you think could step up in this spot? Because, I mean, is it Dan Blacker's horse who has had the lead over and over? But, I think his late kick is as impressive as anyone in this field, for example.
I agree with you wholeheartly, and that's my other pick. That he reminds me of Zach last night. Straight No Chaser.
There was just no chasing. I mean, just none. I mean, I was just crushing. But shout out to our friends at Diplomatico. That was a great night. But yeah, you're not wrong about that. Also, kind of a local. Obviously, Dan's a Southern California guy. Everyone sees his wife Christina on all the FanDuel broadcasts and those sorts of things. Just a part of the community down here too. So I'm sure it would be really special to win one at Del Mar. How are you handicapping, just for other people who are looking at the form and going, gosh, what am I looking at here? A 3 for 6 lifetime Metamax coming out of the Mori barn there, a Japanese runner. Not a great day, by the way, yesterday for the Japanese runners. I don't know if they were in the money yesterday, which is a pretty remarkable thing to say, including Akoro Sieg, who was the favorite in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, Juvie Turf Sprint at least. How are you handicapping a horse like this, or are you just praying they don't win?
Well, I think that, like I said, the interesting thing is going to be who makes the lead. But I think the Japanese could step up in this race because there's a couple of horses. Ramaki is one, and then the other is Don Frankie. So I think either one of those horses could be there because they've traveled. I think they both ran in Dubai. So I think that they're 2 horses who, I'm not scared about how they're going to handle the ship over here or anything like that. So there are a couple of horses because they ran against big time competition. So it's not going to be any stranger for them. So those are a couple of horses where the Japanese could do really well in this race.
When you bet this race, so this is something I haven't talked about with the other guests today. You got a Raging Torrent at 10-1. Frankly, a win place bet on a horse like that is going to pay money. It's going to be fine. Talking about, 10, 11 horses in this kind of field. Are you looking at a horse like that? Are you more of like an exacta key with a horse like that? Are you wheeling with a horse like that? Are we trying to hit a super here? What are you trying to do in this race?
Well, I'm going to bet Raging Torrent across the board. I'm a big across the board better at the Breeders' Cup because you can get great odds on so many horses. And if you finish second or third, you can get your money back and even make money. So in this race, the Superfecta is one of my favorite bets because it can be low risk, high yield. If you go $1, it's $24 bet. And if this one comes in like I think it could pay thousands.
No, that's exactly right. Especially if you're willing to play the increment a little bit higher, right? Those sorts of things. We played a $5 pick 4 yesterday, this kind of stuff. Know your bankroll. But man, as you like to say, back a horse and get paid. And that's really legitimately, Matt just came on, talked about that dirt mile, and he loves post time. And that's a horse that's going to be 15-1, man. And if you're willing to, that's gambling, right? That is legitimate gambling where I'm taking a stand. This is my horse. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
Well, I'm with Matt's Pappy on that race. I like Full Serrano, but that's another great race. I mean, if you want to bet the superfecta in any of these races, if you hit it, because I think there was a 10-cent yesterday that paid like, I think the one with the 3 to 5 favorite, the one that paid like $600 because you had 70 to 1, 81. So take a shot with some of those horses, box this your superfecta, and like I said, back a horse and get paid.
Classic pick. We'll get out of here on that.
My classic pick. I'm going. I'm taking a swing, and I'm going to say Newgate. Bob Baffert. He did it yesterday. Come on, baby. Come on, Newgate.
All right. Well, Danny Brewer, find him at Sports Brew on Twitter as well. We appreciate it very much. We have special guests just pop by. Look at this, man. Oh man, we're gonna keep it going here on the Horse Racing Happy Hour. His name is Carlos Morales. Let's go, man. Let's get after it. I hit this 305, of course, down there in Miami. But I say down in Miami, you're everywhere. You're Mr. Worldwide. Do you and Pitbull, are you going after the same title?
I wouldn't like to say that because then I may be sue. So he is the Mr. Worldwide and just trying to be the best out of it, like a worldwide horse racing.
Yeah,
maybe.
Mr. Worldwide Horse Racing. Yeah, right. Mr. Horse Racing Worldwide. Yeah, right.
That's
yeah,
much better.
that would be okay, I think. Yeah,
that will at least lose me the chances of getting sued.
yeah right.
That's important.
Libel's important here. That's exactly right. So Carlos Morales with us here. Just your impressions from yesterday. Did you take anything away? I thought the track was super fair. We saw, one front running horse win. We saw horses that were stalking, deep closers. We always talk about the short stretch at Del Mar. Seemed to not be part of the equation, frankly, yesterday. Gives me hope that horses that are going to be coming from off the pace have a chance today.
Definitely, the track yesterday, especially the third one, it was very fair. There was no like getting to the lead, you're secure that you're going to actually get the win. That wasn't the case. You saw it with Nooney, although she went 22 and 44. That itself was a killer. But all of the rest, it was very, very, very good, very comfortable. The third also, I was told by the jockeys that it was very safe and it was very nice to travel through. So I think that's very good for today. I guess it will be exactly the same. The most impressive yesterday, definitely immersive.
Yes.
The way how she won that easily with that confidence, she seems like a filly that is going to have a bright future for the replacement of Idiomatic from Bradcock's barn, if you may say so.
Yeah, no, that's right. And I interviewed him this summer, and I said, I know she's not in your barn, but what about this Torpedo Anna? And he brought up Monomoy Girl.
Mm-hmm.
And then she got brought up again yesterday, and he didn't shy away from it. So he obviously agrees with you. I like a word you used in there, which was confidence.
Yeah.
When you get a 2-year-old filly like that, that's willing to just move horses out of the way to make her path.
Yeah.
She definitely showed that yesterday. Could not agree more. Today, do you have a favorite play, a long shot, or anything like that in any of the races today?
Well, there's one horse that I like. It's in the sprint. I think the sprint is very packed. There's going to be a lot of speed. The Japanese horse Remake. I think I have seen this horse race in the Middle East. I had seen he's coming from a win in South Korea. He's good. Believe me, he's really good. And there's going to be a lot of speed. Okay, so this is a horse that comes from the middle pack on behind. The track is going to be favorable. He's used to short final stretch. So I think that could be a long shot because he's not one of the favorites. And the other one, and this may be a little bit sentimental, if you may say so, it will be like the two of the Grays in the third mile, Saudi Crown and Cesar Gray. Again, sending me out because I shared Jaime Torres for Cesar Gray. Yeah. And Saudi Crown has been a fan favorite for me since he started. He's doing it very well in the track. I have seen him with a lot of energy this week. So, and he's going from the post position 1. So you need to go running. And maybe if everyone thinks like, no, let's see when he stops. Maybe he stops after the finish line.
Yeah, there you go. I think Seize the Gray. I think that race sets up fantastically for him. And I think we're going to get the price that we see in the morning line somewhere around 10 to 1. And that's very bettable. I think it's interesting. Fierceness goes into the Classic. He's got 2 grade 1s this year. One of them was before the Derby. Mm-hmm. Seize the Gray has 2 grade 1s after the Derby, right? And I think we forget that part.
Yeah, that's totally interesting and important to say. Like fairness, yes, he's a fair horse, which is a question mark. Will he make it 3 in a row? We will figure out today. But in the case of Cesar Gray, he had continued developing himself. He's getting stronger. he's maturing enough, and he's going in the right path. In that case, you're talking about the Preakness, and in that case, you're talking about the Penn Derby that he won, and he won easily with that confidence. It's not going to be an easy trip today. There's a lot of horses, good horses in the dirt mile, but I think he has the talent to make it happen, and Jaime Torre has the confidence to make that happen too.
Jaime, we had him on after the Preakness, and we did a replay of the race, and we had him walk us through the whole track. He's a great guy, Jaime. He's really awesome, and he just, it's so clear they have a relationship, the two of them, that is just near perfect. They really understand each other. They're very comfortable with each other, and you know, with a trainer like Wayne Lucas, once that's there, he's never touching it. That's my rider. He's going to be at the Breeders' Cup. He's going to be at Turfway Park or whatever, and everywhere in between. I also wanted to say, you've got your button on today, and I'm a bad NTWAB member for not wearing mine. You've stepped into a leadership role. I just wanted to express my gratitude and thank you for doing that, because Danny's a member of the Turf Riders as well, and so we appreciate all of you that do all the little grunt work and all the stuff behind the scenes that we don't have to do so that we can do this. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's Carlos Morales. I hit this 305. Go find them on Twitter for sure if you're one of the 5 people that doesn't follow Carlos. So I appreciate you very much. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for jumping on. I appreciate it. Yeah, good luck. All right. Yeah, let's get some money today. All right. Abbreviated 21-minute edition of the Horse Racing Happy Hour. Thanks to JD Fox, Matt Dinnerman, Carlos Morales, and of course our guy Danny Brewer. Producer Zach, do you want to be on TV today? No? Yes? No? What do we? PZ, get him over here. Made the trip from Austin, Texas. Appreciate this guy very much. Thanks to everybody who came out last night to Excalibur Cigar, hang out with the Diplomatico folks as well. And so we will see you around the bend. I'm off this week. They do make nice hats. I'm not gonna lie. It is what it is. I'm off this week from the show, but we will probably figure something out in a Breeders' Cup reaction edition of the show at some point tomorrow night. So be tuned in for that. For producer Zach, I'm Louie Rebel. Thanks for hanging out. This has been the Horse Racing Happy Hour. Woo!